on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Pam.
Yeah,
Thanks,
see you
Pam.
later.
Yeah.
Bye,
See ya.
guys.
Thanks for joining. All right, so we have everybody here, so,
Yeah, except for Brian, but I don't know what time he's gonna come in.
okay. Why don't I call the meeting to order, President, Wayne Sawchuck, Bill McGowan, Paul Kears, and Carol Rowe. So I think our next meeting would be on the 27th. Does that sound right?
Let me see.
2 weeks from today.
Yes, 27th,
Okay,
9:30.
Yeah, please.
9:30. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we don't have J Road. What else do we have?
Well, we have
And-
anything not anticipated, I think.
Yeah, well, we had the abatement, but he's not here. So I'll have to put him on to the next meeting as well. And I did send him the information for the meeting, so.
Yeah, Carol, did oh God, I was gonna ask you a question about something here. It'll come to me in a minute. Shoot. Oh, on Cook Estate, have they, we have to resign, we have to update that contract and resign it, right? To the
I
board.
sent everything to Sharon and I have not heard from her since.
Okay.
I
can
will
you
follow
inquire today?
Yeah, so with that, Carol,
Mhm.
3 or 4 weeks ago, at our meeting, I think it was the end of May, where Bill couldn't attend, it was Wayne and myself.
Mhm.
We approved the number of units during that meeting.
Yes,
So is it consistent with what you sent across the other day?
yes, yes,
Okay. All right, so then all we need to do is get this thing executed,
Yeah,
correct.
with Sharon. Okay,
and then we have,
And then-
to send them an invoice. So we have to figure that one out too.
yeah, I gotta meet with Brenda. I don't know, what is her job there at the town hall?
Well, I think she's the administrative assistant for the water department and also does.
Yes.
And sewer?
And sewer.
Yeah, she does all the billing for water and sewer.
Okay, all right, so I'll just connect with her because she had questions on CJC and Cook, and I might as well
Mhm.
get the Cook one executed so they can start paying quarterly. And then CJC doesn't start paying quarterly until it's conveyed to the town. Cook has already
Right.
been conveyed to the town, I think. We'd have to confirm that.
Yeah, and one of the other things we've got to do though with Cook is start billing them for usage based on
They
water.
are, yeah, they already are.
Oh, they are?
As far as I know, they are, yeah.
Okay.
And that's why I asked the finance director, where is it showing up? I didn't
Yeah,
see
no,
the 100,000.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I haven't heard a word from her. I asked her where the 100,000 was placed that we received from CJC, and then any increase from the Cook Estates or any deposits from the Cook Estates. I don't know where she's logging all that stuff in.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and then so we just got to figure that part of it out. And if Dan did final inspection on Cook, we need to close that out, execute the agreement. It's theoretically conveyed to the town. There's supposed to be a 1-year warranty in place. I can check with Soren to see if all that's in place.
Yeah. Well, we also have to make sure that the users or the individual users, as per the woman who called a couple of weeks ago wanting the town to fix her grinder pump. I mean, we have to make sure that, I'm sure the language is in there, that we're just covering the actual pipe.
Yeah.
Down to past the Hagee's property line, but other than that, we're not covering anything else, and I think a lot of them expect us to be their sewer repair guy. Which we have to
Yeah.
make very clear to them that we're not.
Yeah, we got from the Deer Hill property line. That's it. Everything else they own. They repair at their own will. So, in that meeting that we had at the end of May, again, Carol, I had asked you to get a hold of Bob Hollerand to find out where those other properties were in their process, and never heard back from you. And I sent out an email there with everybody copied last week, and I still have not heard from him at all.
And that was
So I
for
don't-
CJC?
No, I
This
sent
is,
an email. to talk about the 4 properties that have been approved to be built and they've never come in front of sewer. Only one came in front of sewer, but hasn't been back yet. That's 1 Pleasant Street. And then the, the one on South Main Street, down by, Summer Street hasn't been in front of us. The new property they got approved for 14 apartments and at the gas station 55 hasn't been in front of us.
Right.
And the temporary building that was hooked up for the oyster bar / brew bar in the village, Dan couldn't confirm whether they ever had final inspection and signed off the permit for sewer, because that was something that was going to be like truncated and hooked up to the building next door.
Okay.
And we don't know.
I believe
we
I
don't
sent
know.
the email out. I haven't received anything back from him either.
Okay, because I sent an email to everybody, including you, about the properties and where they
Yep.
stand. I haven't heard from him at all, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, there are a couple more that should be added to it. One is
Okay.
25 South Main Street, which is next to my building, next to Bia, that
Yep.
got permission for 2 condominiums out back, and they've already started construction. So
Huh.
that's one that didn't come. And the second is following up on
Yeah.
on Howe Road. There were two new houses. One, we allowed them to try to get, I was just going through emails the other day and I said, gee, what happened in terms of their sewer permit? Did they in fact pay the $37,500 or were they able to finance it? And we should have an answer on that. But then there's a second new house that's next to it that I don't think ever came to us. And I forget what's the little street that they're on rather than Howe Road. It's
Oh, God.
You talking about by Black Rock and Howe Road, or?
No, it's, I know exactly what you mean. And I can't think of it, Wayne. It's like right on the
Yeah.
corner, because these were all the 3 Matt Shannon properties, right?
yes, yeah. And one is number 3 is the one that was involved with it. As a street address is number 3, but I think there's a 5 and a 7 also, because there were 3 lots altogether.
Yes, Howe Road and, God, what's it called? Is it Dyad?
Diab Lane. Yep.
So we really got to follow up and say,
Coal gas.
the house is finished, you're connected, and
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
I'm
they
surprised
get
that
it
they
built.
were connected if they don't have a permit.
Well, they're going to say that was done before John came in.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should, yeah, Carol, we
That's
should,
what
we should have both of those guys on a call with us, like all of them. Like have connection day and have all those guys show up and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. We haven't heard from him at all. I don't know if he's just
John
busy or
Hallen?
what. Yeah,
And who else?
Well, no, the people that are building these properties that haven't come before us, we should have them come before us and say, okay, this is what you gotta do.
Can you send me the list of those properties? Then I will definitely contact them.
I don't have it, but I think we can, let's see.
yep. So
Yeah.
I copied
By
you
June
on the
6th.
list, and Wayne wants to add those Diab Lane houses to it.
And
Yeah.
the 25.
All right. Do you know when you sent it, Paul?
Yes,
June 6th,
last Wednesday, I think it was, yeah.
Last Wednesday. Okay.
June 6th, 7:35 PM.
The other one, the one on Pleasant Street, I think that's gonna be, it won't be, it should be very cut and dry. I mean, they wanna go back to like the 1900s to get, what the rate was then, but, we gotta go by what our
Current rate is, yeah,
prevailing rate right now, period.
yeah.
I know this is a pain, but when you have a second, could you resend that email to me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then,
And I'll contact those people and see if we can't get them to come to a meeting.
Yeah,
are
and so,
are you in the town hall today, Carol?
I am.
Could you just go downstairs and see him in person and say, hey, listen, we've been trying to reach you several times. We have been unable to get any answers to the emails.
Sure. Yep.
And
If
maybe-
you can,
maybe- Yeah,
yeah, once you forward me that email, I'll bring it down there too.
okay.
The other thing, interesting, I went to for the first time, I went to that beer garden.
Yep.
And, I don't know what they had as occupancy, for Title V and how they got, whatever EDU they had. The place is packed, absolutely like chock-a-block.
Yeah.
And, I mean, good for them, but I don't know whether we charged them, correctly or not.
Well, we ended up charging them, I think, 13,000 or something like that. It was like
A half
or
an EDU.
19. Yeah, it was something like that. And so yeah,
I mean,
Uh,
because if the Title V talks about seats in a restaurant or bar, I would say that an equal amount of people were standing.
Yeah.
And, with a cocktail in their hands. And I was one of them. So, but it's a nice place, I have to say. And, the day my wife and I went down this Sunday, it couldn't have been a nicer day.
Bill them for sewer.
I'm sorry?
that's what I'm saying. I don't know that we did the final inspection, and I don't know how they're being billed for sewer. Is it going through the building that it's hooked up to? Or is it going to, because they don't have an address, right?
I think it's like, whatever the back lot behind where Dr. Tufts used to be.
Yeah, it says rear of 12 parking way.
Yeah,
Okay.
but, I think we gave them what, a half of an EDU, something like that, or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
But
but
we get-
they should be getting a monthly bill that will tell us what their usage is and everything else.
Right,
Yeah.
but I'm also thinking their water usage is probably nothing compared to what they're doing for sewer. I mean, they're serving beer and wine and, maybe they're cleaning dishes and stuff like that, but I mean, it's not a lot of water usage.
Well, the only water usage really would be the bathroom.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you're right. But,
And there are 3 bathrooms there, so. And I bet there are more than 7. I bet there are about 70 seats there, even more. But
oh
it
yeah,
just-
no, there are more than
Yeah, but-
70, I would think. You're right. And then, but people are standing at the same time. I mean, there had to be over 100 people there.
right, but they're only going to be open a certain time of, probably 3 or
A
4
year.
months a year. But
Yeah, I think they have a May to October permit. Oh, and Carol, maybe you could ask John about that as well.
What's the address for that?
12
rear
rear.
of 12 parking way.
12 Parking Way?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
And I sent you that email too, so you should have it.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
So I guess we need a better, there's been a lot of remodeling, a lot of house construction in the last 12 months. And it
Yeah.
seems as though, we've not been in the loop at all. Even though we have the ability to it was supposed to be signing off the building permit. So,
Yeah,
think
every
we
now
have
and then we
to-
get something from planning, but I don't know. That's just inviting us to a planning meeting because someone's applying for a permit, but
Yeah, I
that
can get back to all of them.
okay, yeah, because I signed that last one that came through on the Lobster Pound area, right? And when I called the planning department, they said, oh, they're just dividing the property into 2 different lots. They're not doing anything yet. And I said, okay, well, rumor has it they want to put apartments on one of the buildings. So, or some Airbnb or something. I forget what they
Yeah,
said they want to do.
Airbnb.
So, yeah, so it's still, a dwelling unit to us. So I just wrote on that permit that, if there's a change of use, they have to come in front of us. And I, like I said, I don't know what mechanism there is in place for us to be, the second, third, or last stop on the list of things that have to be
Well,
done.
On all of the building permits, as we used to do, on the back of the actual permit are where like water, sewer, everyone else signs off on it. So, it's not I think by law, it's not a valid permit unless we sign off on it.
Yeah, so that the question is, well, how did they get occupancy at the 12 rear parking way beer garden if Dan said he's never been there to inspect the final hookup?
And they are getting billed. I just checked.
Okay.
Well, and the other, I mean, a lot of people, I think, do, midnight excavations, and I had somebody who lives near me build his garage out with an apartment, maybe two apartments, a kitchen, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And he was like, I forgot to get my contractor forgot to get a building permit. And I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, right. So he came, he said, I got to go down and get a sewer permit. I said, yes, you do.
Yeah.
We're not gonna, you're gonna get billed one way or the other, and it's probably better that we can bill you correctly than we just make up a number every day. So,
Yeah.
I will get requests from the building department about permits. And they're asking, us to sign off. And if it's something that doesn't involve sewer, then I will put not applicable because it doesn't involve
Yeah, yeah.
sewer. But if it does, I always put on the system, I put incomplete. And I'll put, we'll need to fill out a sewer application and pay, current fees. And until that's done, it's not getting approved.
so,
So
Well, that's the question. Who approves them? Do they just go to Brian and he signs them? We just don't know it. We just don't know Brian signing these things, or do they go to you?
that I don't know.
Hello?
Okay.
Brian has his hand up. Brian, do you want to talk?
Oh, he's
Hi.
there. Okay,
You
great.
guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm traveling today. So I just heard the end of the conversation on parking way. So I think, Carol, if you go back and check on the meeting minutes on parking way and on the Diab Lane lots, I'm pretty sure you guys voted on those approvals and they paid all the fees that, the EDUs that were decided. I inspected 12 Parking Way. If you remember, they was trying to be open last year and they had a problem ordering their building from Switzerland or something like that. So they were delayed a year. So that happened. Rosano Davis did all its gravity sewer behind. They ran the new gravity sewer from the toilets where the building is, and then a new gravity sewer to the building that they were connecting into. So that was all inspected and approved a year prior to them even delivering the building.
Okay.
And all the capturing of the flow is through the existing meter. They're a lessee of 12 Parking Way. So all the usage is being captured on that water meter and billed that way.
Okay, through the main
And
building.
on Howe Road, I think, so there are 2 pressure connections up there, I believe. And, I think those were all approved by the board and the EDUs and application fees paid.
Yeah, we should have some mechanism like that we can, whether it be some sort of, program that's on our computer or something like that, some way of us knowing, like we just go to a thing and it says, okay, yeah, everything's done. So we don't have to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good to have John Hallen on your next agenda or when it makes sense. Because
That'd be, good idea.
the problem is, a lot of the recent developments have been in a pre-existing sewer locations and just change of uses. And historically, there hasn't been a lot of that. So I don't think it's been captured in kind of the application process. So.
Okay. Yeah, because that's
Just,
down by St. Anthony's, the garage that burned down, hasn't been in front of us. And was existing sewer because it was capped. And now he has 3 apartments and 2 retail.
Yeah.
So that's a change of use where he has to come in front of us and we'd have to calculate what the usage is. And then 55 South Main, which is the gas station next to the Red Lion Inn, they just got approved, but they haven't come to us to talk about sewer at all. And of course, 1 Pleasant Street, we still haven't heard back from them as to what's going on. And, they were vacillating on the number of seats in a restaurant. And at this point, my position would be the planning board approved it for the maximum capacity of seats, which would say 50, then we'll just calculate 50. And if it's less than that, doesn't matter to us. We have to go by what the maximum amount of seating would be.
I agree. I didn't know that the planning board has said that what it is, but yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna, I just see that property coming before us the day before they open and they're in a, their hair's on fire. They're
Well,
gonna
the
want-
problem is it's gonna end up like Cook, right? Where the horses are already out of the barn. What are you gonna do? You know, so I want to get there before that happens again.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Agree.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'd be worthwhile just, hearing, I wasn't aware of the planning board approval of that gas station one, but just,
It's 12 apartments.
getting their general condition notes, and if they don't have anything there saying that, water commission and sewer commission approvals are required or something like that,
Yeah.
that it should be just a blanket general condition of every approval they do.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's not there already.
Yeah, and Brian, they used to do that. I mean, I remember, going way back that on the back of the actual planning permit would be signatures for, water, sewer, and whoever else was necessary, and the permit wasn't valid until those things were signed.
Yeah, so I think with the transition of John Hallen from Bob Egan and kind of the planning directors, I think it'd probably be good to get everyone back and at a future meeting and just,
Yeah.
lay down the process so it's clear.
Yeah, Carol, see if we can do the next meeting.
Will do.
Yeah, we got to
Now,
figure
this-
out, CJC needs their sewer permit. So we have two different things. We have a sewer permit, but I don't know if issuing a sewer permit, how that affects the agreement. I know the agreement is a kind of a freestanding document to conform to our standards and then have it conveyed to the town. But I certainly don't want to issue a sewer permit if it automatically can, kick something to where
We can't
it's in
control it.
conflict. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So we got to figure that part of it out fairly quick. So I was going to go through the agreement one more time, but that just have to probably get with Brian to find out what they need. They need the permit for something. I forget what it was to move forward.
So I hadn't heard what the permit was for, but, I think we need to, I've talked with Jen a couple of times about the the payment process, over the 20-year term. And I think, or 10, is it 10 or 20? I forget.
20 years. Yeah.
But just make sure before any permits are issued that, everything is current and set in place.
Okay, so I'll just get together with Jeff Delis on that because he had been sending Carol a couple of emails on it, and I told her I would kind of look into it.
yeah, and that's fine, but Paul, I think what we should do, particularly given our history, is have most of the deliberations, with us as well.
Yeah, so he's saying that they're about to coordinate with Pam to physically abandon the septic systems at 380 and 400.
Yeah.
Pam requires a copy of the sewer connection permit. So he doesn't recall any sewer permit having been issued. So we have to figure out from Pam, can she do this without the permit? And the permit is issued when all of the property is done, I don't know. So they're asking about sewer permits for 380 and 400 because that's what Pam says she needs in order. And they're going to shut down the septic systems, I believe, in July.
Yeah, I thought they were in the process of doing that. I mean, I don't know what they have to do to shut them down, but I mean, I thought they were in the process of doing that already.
Yeah, they may have done one, but the other two, there's
Okay.
three. Oh, no, I'm sorry, there's only two. They never let them build the other one.
Yeah, the one up by Feng Shui.
Yeah, 390, yeah. Yeah, so 380 and 400, 380 is Feng Shui and 400 is Stop and Shop, yep. Yeah, so it says that Pam's the one who's requesting before they abandon the septic system, they have to have a sewer permit. So my guess is if you don't have septic, you have to have evidence you have sewer, right? So that's probably what she's looking for. And I don't know, Brian, if that's something we should do or can do based on the contract agreement that we have in place.
I would think you just want to verify that, all the payments are done and the long-term payments are set up and are in place.
Yeah, so
Otherwise-
the payment issue has nothing to do with it. It's a matter of, has he complied with all of the inspections and tests? And is the property ready to be conveyed to the town? Because the payments don't start until the first quarter after it's been conveyed to the town. So the payments aren't the issue. The issue is, has he complied with everything in building the sewer system and it's ready to go. He's using it, but is everything in place that we require so that we now say, okay, it's completely done and you convey it to the town? And then the payments start the next quarter after that. So that's the question I have is everything done? And I remember the control panels or whatever it is that was supposed to come in, were coming in, and we're almost there. We're there. You know, I have no idea.
The control panels have been replaced. The thing that we were waiting for was a cable for the flow meters.
Okay.
And that did come in, and that was installed probably about 2 weeks ago. And
Yep.
we went out and inspected it, and the flow meters were working at that time.
Yeah.
I think if you look at a list that I put together for you.
Okay.
There's a couple items that have been completed on that, but there's still the majority of that just needs to be check marked, you know, as being.
To see if it was okay. Okay.
One of the things was the as-built for the on-site facilities, just so we know how everything's piped up underground, because, you know, we were only
Okay.
periodic out there. They had their own residents, so we just want to make sure we know, you know,
Okay.
what's going on in case there's ever a problem, but.
Right. Because, yeah, well, we need the plans. If he's going to convey it to the town, we need the plans, right? So,
Yeah.
Right,
yeah, we need to know what's there.
yeah, so I mean, see if Delisi can just respond to that list, you know?
Okay, yeah,
Um,
let's, it's a carrot and a stick thing. I mean, we have a list there. I know we work with Mark on it, and Mark said he was only responsible for certain things on that list, and he addressed them. The rest were up
Right.
to the guys running CJC, I guess. So,
I just
All right,
went
I'll-
through the meeting notes, and it looks like in August, August 31st or August 24th, you guys did approve the Diab lane.
just confirm the addresses that we approved
Um,
are the ones that they're building. So
3, 9, and 15.
that
I
sounds
will.
about right. Yeah.
Yeah, lot 3, but what about the other 2 houses?
Yeah, see, I only remember talking to one person, when the couple, the young couple that was in a car, they always would call us.
Yeah.
Right, the one that tried
And
to
they
be
didn't want to pay anything, so I was like.
Yeah.
okay.
And then they
Yeah,
drove
I
down the
think,
next day with, they drove down the next day with a check.
Yeah, I think the vote was for 3, 9, and 15, all
15,
three.
yes.
It
Yep.
was, yeah.
So 3, 9, and 15 are the side by side, you know, first 3 houses on the left as you go in. Diab.
Okay.
Yeah, go around the corner, yeah.
Yeah, the question is that those, at that time, the homes weren't being built. There was only one being built, so we only received one check for 37.5. I don't think we got checks from the other 2.
Yeah, because I don't think he had sold them yet.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's the
you
issue.
know, when it starts getting transferred to everybody, it's gonna be, you know, the person that bought it is gonna,
It's gonna be surprised. So we only had that one couple come in front of us because they were surprised it was 37.5, and Matt never told them, and then we said, well, it's, you know, it had nothing to do with us.
Yeah, Carol, could you check the files on those? I remember that the developer, whoever was building them, paid those payments
Or
for all 3 properties.
you wanted to know who made the payments?
No, that the payments were made.
Okay,
So
Yeah, it would have been, I think it would have been 37.5 on all 3 properties. Each was 37.5 because they're all
Okay.
4-bedroom homes. Yeah, something like
I'll
that.
double check.
thanks.
right, and I was curious whether or not she was successful in getting it spread over 20 years. That, you know, and if that was the case, that's fine. But on the
So
other 2,
that wasn't the case on any of those properties. And just in working with Jen on trying to get the payment schedule for 20 years on the CJC and the Cook agreements, it's problematic because, you know, it's not exactly a betterment.
Right.
So trying to commit it, or the legal commitment of it is problematic. So I wouldn't recommend offering that to, you know, residents until we have some sort of formal process.
Yeah, no, I don't think we should. I mean, they can fund it themselves. I mean, they can just get a loan or something. I mean, I think that the charge is the charge, and, you know, I think us making accommodations are gonna just blow back at us for all the people who haven't gotten an accommodation. So I think we just charge them. How they do the financing of that of that amount of money, that's their business, not ours. My opinion.
Yeah, Don Piatt's parting words were, we're not a finance agency, so, yeah.
No, we're not, but I mean, at the same time, you know, you don't want to be jerks, but
Yeah.
you know, there are lots of ways that somebody can go out and get, you know, sort of temporary funding for something like that if they need it. And, but, you know, the fact that a person selling a home doesn't tell them about all these extra charges, well, that's not, you know, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then don't, we're not going to connect you to sewer. I mean, it's as simple as that. So. Did I lose everyone?
Nope,
Nope.
we're here. We were just digesting your words of wisdom.
Yeah. You can tell that the little button on my head that says, you know, be nice is starting to wear away. What else do we have? Anything?
That's it.
No, because we have to push off the
Yeah.
Jerusalem Road sewer break and the Wooden and Curran because Rob couldn't attend and Scott's out all week.
All right, that's fine. And then if you can get John in our meeting next time.
Will do.
I
Okay.
had one more thing. I had 110 Jerusalem Road. Brian, that was the one that you had given us to take a look at on inspection, and we did do the pump relocation and installation over there. But I got contacted by another contractor doing work over there, and it looks like they want to put in a second pump to service the pool house and the garage. So I gave them a quick list as far as what they should be submitting, you know, plans. I mean, obviously, we don't want to see the pool backwashing into the system. But they were going to be putting together a package, but I mean, that would probably constitute, you know, an additional application because we haven't seen that extra work being done yet. And I sent that over to Carol. I'm not sure, Carol, if you ever received a application revision or something on that.
Let's see.
But in any case, it's
No,
gonna
I
be-
have not received any.
Okay, so it's gonna be some additional work. I'll just notify them that they have to make an official application to extend that service.
Yeah,
They are
I
gonna-
have the original, but I don't have anything for any extension.
Right. And obviously, you know, the garage could be a guest house. I know they had some bathroom facilities in there. And we just want to double check that they're not pumping extraneous flows into the system,
Yeah.
so.
Well,
know,
what's
Brian,
the-
if
what's
you-
the- Dan, what's the property name? What's the owner's name?
Moreau? Kristen and Bakar?
No, don't know.
And Brian, I just wanted to double check because you got the first application. I didn't know if you had heard anything about it.
No, so I've recused myself. So they're our direct abutter to me. So
Okay.
I recused myself from all kind of town dealings on it.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, now, did we get an application for 92 Black Horse Lane for sewer?
I'm looking. I have 62 and 80, no 92.
Okay, that should be coming across the desk. Because I've seen it going back and forth to planning board and other things. So you might just want to keep an eye open for it.
Okay, I will.
And one other thing is, it appears as though there's a food service operation that opened up across the street from the post office. and it looks like some sort of like not a deli, but I don't know, maybe something else, but I wonder if they came in for a change of use through the Board of Health in terms of adding, whatever that's needed for an operation like,
Yeah, restaurant or something.
yeah,
Is that the old antique building?
yeah. I forget what's the Flatiron Building, I think is what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's got 2 apartments upstairs.
I don't know if it has any residential upstairs. I think it's I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay, oh, different building then.
No, yeah, it's right across from the post office. It was it's been used for mostly all just retail and
Oh, yeah.
and actually years ago it was Bailey's Delicatessen.
Hmm.
And then after that log and line and stuff. So that, okay. All right.
Hey, Wayne, one
I'm
more
all
thing.
set.
Wayne, I just wanted to bring up, did
What
you
was
want to
that?
talk about did you want to talk about the shoot service?
Yes, let's do that real quick because it's
Yeah.
yeah. Why don't you tell them what we've done and what we really should do as far as do some test holes and to find out what it is that we need to do to make the connection stuff too.
Yeah, so I mean, this was a service that was installed, and Brian, I don't know if you know much about it, but Ross Rosano had extended the service for the shoot subdivision property. It was the one that's right at the corner of the bridge. And they actually went into the street and tapped the new HDPE main that was installed as part of the bridge. And that line we're basically only keeping in storage essentially, or plan to at least, not having it operational, just for emergency use. So the service really is tapped to an area of the main that we don't want it to. Also, one service on the 4-inch line is not good practice. So what was anticipated, I'm not even sure if this was permitted either. I think, Wayne, you had a question on
I
that?
don't think so. No, I think it was
No.
done without it.
So we looked at, potentially they could relocate the service, and really their frontage on that street isn't significant. So in order for them to go down to the 2-inch main that we have, which is a significant distance down the road, they would have to dig up that portion of the street and extend it down. And that's going to go into the new pavement and be a significant amount of additional work. Another option for them would be to go through the original shoot property and try to use their service, but haven't really looked too much into that. But we put together a plan to extend the 4-inch mains to connect that up to use that for emergency use. So the question is, do we just disconnect and cap that service at this time? Or do we talk to the new owner or owners and try to work up a strategy for them to relocate it, I guess?
But they're not there's nothing there. They're not pumping anything into our system right now, right?
There's not, there's just that service tap on the main and a service gate. As in terms of good practice, it's usually best to go back to the main and cap it off. So you don't have this line that could potentially leak or cause issues.
Yeah.
But that is all new pavement. Maybe we do it at a later date and just, make sure they don't connect to it.
Yeah, I know that somebody was looking at it to buy that corner lot. I don't know if they ever did.
Ryan, did you ever come across?
No,
that?
I heard, I missed the piece about the connection. So why can't they use the existing connection, or what was your finding on that?
Well, I mean, what you have is a single house connecting to the 4-inch line, if we were to keep it active. And the way that system would go, it's either we're pushing it across the bridge, or we're pushing it back to the the original system that goes towards the beach. So you have a single service and a 4-inch line, it's gonna get kind of right, because it's really not gonna displace that volume on a regular base.
Oh, okay,
Um,
so you're saying like in the event that the bridge remains closed off and only used for emergency, what do you
Right.
think about leaving it looped and open?
Well, I mean, I don't think we really have, I think we want to control the direction of flow. And, you know, because of the fact that if you have flow reversals in a system with solids, it can be sometimes problematic. You know, we have solids moving back and forth. So, I mean, it's not ideal. And the other thing is that pipe is only 125 PSI rated. You know, during a power outage, if everybody came on at the same time, we're looking at potentially pressures that could be higher than that. Probably still within the safety factor, but it's not an ideal situation, so better to keep it as an emergency relief in my mind. You know, if we did leave it open and keep it running, obviously we have to generate enough flow somehow, you know, isolate, you know, a portion of the main to flush that line and keep it active. If we did close it off, then we'd probably have to fill it with, you know, like a marine antifreeze for a period of time so that, you know, there's no freezing issues or freezing potential. Well, there's a couple of options there. It's just, you know, how we end up doing it. There is a possibility where we could go further down the street towards the beach, either use an existing valve or install a new valve and redirect portions of the system across the bridge to keep it from freezing. And then in that case, maybe the service would be okay. But again, I don't think that service was actually permitted. So we'd have to resolve that as well.
Right, and I forget the name of the developer who's inquiring about it, but there's an email chain. I think I'll forward it along if I find it. But he was the one asking about the connection. I think the problem with connecting elsewhere is his frontage is right there at the corner, or the frontage of this subdivided property, so it's not part of the shoot property anymore.
Right.
So it'd be a long run to make a connection elsewhere.
It would. And we, obviously, I wouldn't want to divert, if we were to divert flow over the bridge, you know, we'd have to terminate it where the 4-inch transitions to a 6, because I don't want the 6 going into the 4. Because that would be a higher potential for blockage and issues. So I'd have to look, but we could probably divert. I'm thinking maybe up to Sheldon, but I'd have to take a hard look just to see how.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we got the Sandy Beach house and everything there going towards the bridge, then
that might
then you
actually be a
have the
safe-
causeway 399 comes down and then goes up beach that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the pipe that runs by the beach is a 6-inch. So I just have to look at the termination point there and make sure we have a valve if we did do that. So, I mean, those are the two concerns, I guess, is if we use it, or if we you know, divert the service someplace else and not use it.
All right. Anyone got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Wayne?
Yep.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Paul Care, second.
Wayne Sawchuk.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Bill McGowan, aye.
Paul Care, aye.
Wayne Sawchuk, aye.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank
All right, take
you.
care. All righty, bye.
All right,
Bye.
see ya.